Have you ever been curious about how to play Riichi Mahjong? Didn't know where to start? This video is designed to get you started playing as quickly as possible without diving too much into the nuances of the game. This is how to play Riichi Mahjong as an absolute beginner. The goal of the game is to build a winning hand of tiles. The player that builds their winning hand first wins. What is a winning hand? Let's start by explaining tiles. Mahjong has 5 types of tiles, and they're kind of like suits in a deck of cards. The tile types are numbers 1 through 9 of characters, numbers 1 through 9 of bamboo, numbers 1 through 9 of circles, and then there's the honors tiles. There's red, green, and white dragons, and north, south, east, and west winds. The mechanic of the game is fairly simple. On your turn, you draw a tile, and then you discard a tile. That's pretty much it. You always have 13 tiles in hand. On your turn, you draw 1 tile, making 14, and then discard 1 tile to return to 13. The goal to win the game is to build a hand of 14 tiles. A winning hand consists of 4 sets of sequences or triplets and a pair. Again, that is 4 sets of sequences or triplets and a pair. There's a few exceptions, but we're not going to talk about that today. Let's take a look at this hand. This is a winning hand. If you had this hand, you would have just won the game. So let's take a look at it and break it down. As you can see, there's a 3, 4, 5 of characters, which is your first sequence. There's a 7, 7, 7 of characters, which is your second triplet. There's a 2, 3, 4 circles, which is your third sequence. A 4, 5, 6 of bamboo, which is your fourth sequence. And then an 8, 8 of bamboo, which is your pair. Let's take a look at this second example. You can see there's a 4, 4 of characters, which is your pair. There's a 6, 7, 8 of characters, which is your first sequence. There's a 3, 3, 3 of circles, which is your second triplet. There's a 4, 5, 6 of circles, which is your third sequence. And then there are 3 green dragons, which is your fourth triplet. And that's it, right? Not quite. This isn't traditional Mahjong. This is Riichi Mahjong, which means you get to suffer even more. You want to be able to sling some tiles in Yakuza, right? In Riichi Mahjong, your hand must fulfill a winning condition in order to be eligible to win. This is called a yaku. A yaku is a valid scoring pattern or condition that is required to win the game. What does this mean? While there are many yaku that could be used to win, we are going to be talking about 2 easy yaku today: Riichi and all simples. Riichi, it's the name of the game. When playing, you build your hand, and when you're only 1 tile away from winning, you'll be giving an option to press the Riichi button. At this point, you draw and discard tiles until you draw the winning tile or someone else discards the winning tile. However, you can only discard the tile you draw. You can no longer modify your hand. When you either draw the final tile or someone else discards the winning tile, you win. If you draw the winning tile, this is called sumo. If someone else discards the winning tile, this is called roan. If you ever see these buttons, mash them without hesitation. This is literally the win button. The other yaku you can use to win the game is called all simples. This one's a little more complicated, but it's important for learning another very important mechanic of Mahjong: opening your hand. In Mahjong, you can take another player's discarded tile as they discard it to help you build your hand faster. This is a great way to secure a win before someone else does. But there's a catch. Once you do this, your hand becomes open, and a few core yaku require your hand to remain closed, so it can actually be harder to win. For example, Riichi is no longer possible when you open your hand. In this scenario, we will now win with an all simples yaku. If you have 2 matching tiles and someone discards another matching tile, you can then take that tile by pressing the pwn button. The tiles will then be placed aside in the lower right portion of the board. After this is done, your hand is now open. Another way to take tiles is chi. If you have 2 tiles in a sequence and the player to your left discards a tile to complete it, you can then press the chi button to take that tile. Note: unlike pwn, chi, you can only take the tile from the player to your left. If any other players drop a tile in sequence, you cannot take it. Let's look at the following example of this pwn. As you can see, I have 2 red dragons inside my hand. However, the player to the right of me just discarded another red dragon. The game has now prompted me to pwn that tile, which means I can pwn it, take it, and open my hand. And here's an example of chi. As you can see, I have 7 and 8 of bamboo in my hand. However, the player to my left of me discarded the 6 of bamboo. I can now hit chi, take this tile, and open my hand as well. Now that you've taken some tiles from your friends, let's build our hand using all simples. Building an all simples hand is just like building a Riichi hand, except you can only use tiles numbered 2 through 8 and you cannot use honors. This means discard all honors tiles and all 1s and 9s. Just remember that tiles at the bottom right of your screen count as part of your hand. Do not accidentally chi or pwn 1s, 9s, or honors tiles. Now let's recap what we've learned today. Riichi Mahjong is played by drawing and discarding tiles. There are 5 types of tiles: characters, bamboo, circles, dragons, winds. Your hand consists of 14 tiles. The objective of the game is to build your hand of 4 sequences or triplets and a pair. Each player on their turn draws a tile and then discards a tile. However, in Riichi Mahjong, you can't just win by completing your hand. Your hand must also contain a yaku. There are 2 basic kinds of yaku you can use to win: Riichi and all simples. Riichi is a winning condition of building your hand with any tiles without opening your hand. When you see Sumo or Roan on your screen, press them to win the game. If a player discards a tile, you can use that to build your hand and take that tile from them. This is called opening your hand. You can open your hand by taking tiles from other players using the pwn or chi buttons. However, you have now limited your options of how you can win. You can win with an open hand by using the all simples yaku. This yaku means that you can only have numbers 2 through 8 in your hand and you must discard honors tiles and all 1s and 9s. And that's it! This is the fundamentals of how to play Riichi Mahjong. There's so much more to this game that cannot be explained in a short video and without completely overwhelming you with information. But this is enough to get you started. When starting out, your friends are going to be playing better than you and using more advanced techniques to win the game. You'll also run across conditions that make no sense because you haven't learned about them yet. This is normal. You'll get it. This game is overwhelming to newbies and can be easy to become discouraged. The best way to learn the ins and outs of Mahjong is just to play and learn. When you have questions, ask your friends for help. And most important, have fun. I'm going to leave some links to resources for playing Riichi Mahjong in the description of this video. And if you want more Mahjong tips and tricks, let me know in the comments. Bye!